Alex, I spent 3 hours yesterday trying to find a 10 millimeter socket that I swear had grown legs and walked into a different dimension. By the time I found it, in my own pocket, naturally, the sun was down and my motivation was somewhere in the next county.
Every time you say you're going into the shop for 10 minutes, I start a timer. You're currently averaging 4 hours per quick fix. But honestly, if your pants are eating your tools, maybe it's time we talk about these new ergonomics people are raving about.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was reading through the latest over at Tool Guide this morning. We're in this weird, beautiful moment where everyone is obsessed with batteries and brushless motors, but the humble hand tool is having a complete midlife transformation.
Like a sports car phase? Are we getting carbon fiber screwdrivers now?
Worse, or better, depending on how much you value your knuckles. They're narrowing the tolerances so tight now that a wrench fits a nut like a tailored suit. I used to accept that rounding off a bolt head was just the tax you paid for working on an old truck. Now, these new driver geometries are grabbing onto hardware like they're afraid to let go. It makes you realize how much energy we've wasted over the years just trying to keep the tool from slipping.
So it's not just about comfort, it's about not destroying the project before you even get started?
Exactly. It's the difference between surgery and a bar fight. If you're a DIYer, you don't need 1,000 tools. You need 5 that actually respect the metal they're touching.
Speaking of respecting the craft, I saw that ACHR News just dropped their 40 under 40 list for the HVAC world. It's not exactly the lonely repairman in a van vibe anymore, is it?
Not even close. It's becoming what I call a new collar gig. These kids, and I call them kids because my knees creak when I stand up, are walking into mechanical rooms that look like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. They're managing AI diagnostics and tracking things like Legionella risks in massive chiller plants.
I noticed a lot of them in the profiles mentioned they didn't even start in the trades. They were in retail or tech or just floating.
That's the secret sauce. The trade didn't find them in high school shop class. They found the trade when they realized they wanted a career that wouldn't vanish if a server went down in Silicon Valley. But here's the kicker for anyone listening who's just starting out. Document your wins. These 40 under 40 folks didn't just do good work. They made sure the industry saw them doing it. If you fix a system that's been stumped for 3 other guys, don't just pack up and leave. Take a photo of the diagnostic. Write down the fix. Build a portfolio like you're an artist, because in a way, you are.
Don't let the secret out, Tiger. If people realize HVAC is high tech, we won't be able to afford the service calls anymore.
Too late. The cat's out of the bag and it's wearing a tool belt.
All right, let's pivot from the industrial chillers to the maker moguls. If you're selling on Etsy right now, the data is screaming 3 specific words at us: personalization, eco-friendly, and slow living.
Slow living. Is that code for taking 2 hours to find your 10 millimeter socket?
Not quite. It's the aesthetic of things that force you to unplug. Knitting bowls, gardening kits, hand-carved spoons. People are desperate to touch something that isn't a glass screen, and they want their names on the things that hold their chaos. Custom desk organizers are huge right now.
It makes sense. If the world feels like it's spinning off its axis, you want a very nice walnut tray to put your keys in, so at least you know where those are.
The tip for the sellers out there: don't bury the lead. Put those keywords, personalization, sustainable, slow living, in your first 3 tags. The Etsy search algorithm is like a hungry dog. You've got to throw the bone exactly where it's looking.
And don't just slap a name on a piece of plastic. If you're a maker, use the eco angle. Tell the story of the wood. If you salvaged an oak plank from a barn, put that in the description. People aren't buying a box. They're buying the fact that you saved a piece of history to hold their paper clips.
Speaking of wood, I saw you watching that video about the drum kit surgery. I thought you were a furniture guy, not a roadie.
Oh man. The Maker channel did a piece on cutting down a DW floor tom. It was nerve-wracking. They had to salvage these reinforcement rings, which are basically the structural soul of the drum, and move them. It's the kind of project where you measure 14 times and then still hold your breath when the saw blade touches the wood.
It sounds like high-stakes woodworking.
It is. But it reminded me of a 65-year-old master carpenter I follow who recently shared his 7 secret joints. We all get comfortable with pocket holes or basic miters because they're fast. But when you see a Japanese scarf joint or a properly executed blind dovetail, it changes the way you look at a corner. A pocket hole is a handshake. A master joint is a blood oath. It's what turns a project into something your grandkids will fight over in the will.
Grandpa Tiger's blood oath table has a nice ring to it.
Hey, if they're fighting over it, I did my job right.
So, what's the takeaway for the den dwellers today? We've covered everything from high-tech wrenches to AI in the boiler room.
I think it's about future proofing. Whether it's buying a tool that won't strip your bolts, learning the tech side of a trade so you're never obsolete, or building a piece of furniture that physically cannot fall apart, aim for the long game. Don't build for Tuesday, build for 20 years from Tuesday.
I like that, even if it takes 4 hours to find your tools.
Especially then, the slower you go, the longer it lasts.
Thanks for hanging out in the den with us today. Whether you're heading to the job site or the hobby bench, stay sharp.
And keep your sockets in your pocket. See you next time.